Hello everyone, this is Hitendra Soneji once again signing in for the new knowledge sharing session. So today I'm going to tell you one story. This story is a very old story which everybody must have read and heard in your school times. The Hare and the Tortoise. Yes.
For latest updates, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.
So there is a new version of this story which I am going to recite for you. So the story goes like this, which you already have heard. Old story. So once upon a time, a tortoise and a hare had an argument about who was faster. They decided to settle the argument with a race. They agreed on a route and started off the race. The hare shoot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing that he was far ahead of the tortoise, he thought he would sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The tortoise, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as the undisputed champ. The hare woke up and realized that he did lose the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. So this is the version of the story that we have all grown up with. But then recently someone told me a more interesting version of this story. It continues. The hare was disappointed at losing the race and he did some defect prevention, that is root cause analysis. He realized that he had lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, so there is no way the tortoise could have beaten him. So he challenged the tortoise to another race. The tortoise agreed. This time the hare went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. The moral of the story: fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. If you have two people in your organization, one slow, methodical and reliable, and the other fast and still reliable at what he does, the fast and reliable chap will consistently climb up the organizational ladder faster than the slow, methodical champ. It's good to be slow and steady, but it's better to be fast and reliable. But the story doesn't end here. The tortoise did some thinking. Now, this time, and realized that there is no way he can beat the hare in a race the way it was currently formatted. He thought for a while and then challenged the hare to another race, but on a slightly different route. The hare agreed. They started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the hare took off and ran at the top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The hare sat there wondering what to do. In the meantime, the tortoise trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race. The moral of the story? First, identify your core competency and then change the playing field to suit your core competencies. In an organization, if you are a good speaker, make sure you create opportunities to give presentations that enable the senior management to notice you. If your strength is analyzing, make sure you do some sort of research. Make a report and send it upstairs. Working to your strengths will not only get you noticed, but will also create opportunities for growth and advancement. The story still hasn't ended. The hare and the tortoise by this time had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. But both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So they decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time the hare carried the tortoise till the river bank. There the tortoise took over and swam across the hare on his back. On the opposite bank, the hare again carried the tortoise and they reached the finishing line together. They both felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they would felt earlier. The moral of the story? It is good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies. But unless you are able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you will always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you will do poorly and someone else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for the situation take leadership. There are more lessons to be learned from this story. Not that either the hare nor the tortoise gave up after failures. The hare decided to work harder and put in more efforts after his failure. The tortoise changed his strategies because he was already working as hard as he could in life. When faced with failures, sometimes it is appropriate to work harder and put in more efforts. Sometimes it is appropriate to change strategies and try something different. And sometimes it is appropriate to do both the things. The hare and the tortoise also learned another vital lesson. When we stop competing against a rival and instead start competing against the situation, we perform far better. To sum up, the story of the hare and the tortoise teaches us many things. Important lessons are: the fast and the consistent will always beat slow and steady. Work to your competencies. Pooling resources and working as a team will always beat individual performance. Never give up when faced with failures. And finally, compete against the situation, not against a rival. Thank you.
For detailed learning of all logistics subjects, visit www.logiveda.com.